Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Again, hello, dear students. Today it is a new course with a new chapters with the new materials. Okay, teaching methods in the second stage. Okay, this materials begin with the start of the lecture. After begin, I will explain these materials and what is your effect for your students and what is the benefit for your the second stage. This material is very important to learn students how you use your language what you're teaching. Okay, so look here in this book. Okay, it's your picture book, teaching English as a foreign or a second language. What does it mean of teaching English as a foreign second language? It is your not my mother tongue, it is target language we learns. I'm already teacher English. Will be you will be teacher English. This is your target language, okay? This chapter self-development and methodology guide. So self-development and methodology guide. Self-development teachers will develop yourself in your method. Okay? Not speak your language, your methods, already to benefit for professional in your language. Okay? This book used by what? Use of what? How are you learning to teach English as a foreign language and English as a second language as a part of preserve teacher education program. Have program for teachers use language learners. It can also use teacher development text and service teacher development program as your start for experience. Teachers of foreign language or a second language would like to refresh their knowledge and improve their teaching. So, teacher learning development for your teacher, your experience, you refresh your mind, what knowledge and informations. So, okay, till now it's okay, dear students. So, this book, the purpose of this book, use of learning to teach English foreign language. Okay, so the purpose of this book provides ways for you to work on the development of your teaching and classroom practice, dependent in classroom teaching student in your method, and offers ways that you, a foreign language or second language teacher, can develop your teaching through a process of explorations. Okay, this book provided here. This book provides. Okay, this book provides. Look here. This book provide. Okay, so this book will provide for work to develop your teaching classroom practice and the classroom practice. So this book also provides discussion in different English teaching settings around the world and teaching issues associated with them. To provide discussions, examples, and illustrations of how the foreign language or second language can be taught and interaction among people, how classroom can be managed, how teacher and student can make your authentic teaching materials, media and technology, and the significance of cultural for both students and teachers means make your students and teacher effective to use language in the classroom with materials and media. So, this book shows foreign language and second language teachers students to comprehend spoken English, to converse in English, to read for meaning and the process of writing. You mean this book students read and understand would make connect between word and the meaning of a word, not use the mother tongue. No, the meaning of the target language. So this is the purpose of this book in the introductions material. So again, with that, I will see the first part of this The first part with the book that your field development. Comparison between Yushi and Kathy teaching. As you have undoubtedly knows, there are some obvious difference between Yushi and Kathy, a style of teaching. Have two characters make the comparison between what is the successful or teaching in your Kathy and Yushi styles of teaching. Whilst Yushi goes through his lesson in your more or less lockstep or fashions, mostly following the test, Kathy designed her own programs. Lessons and bring an innovative idea into her teaching Yushi flow course. Program relate topic with the tape follow be reading, selection, comprehension, questions. Okay? Question, another reading and discussing questions. He really breaks from the step-by-step progressions and your characteristics. He sees the students are not shown to rest or comprehending the content. He does his best of to explain the meaning of a test, but he does not break from not just to engage the student in negations the meaning text. Okay, having the follow all four levels since listen the different breakaway from next to way of teaching. So Yushi and Kathy have two characters worthy of two teachers. The first teacher to follow your developers and to innovate it, but the other teacher not to be connect with the student and teacher make it not a perfect teacher to explain for your student. And in contrast, Kathy doesn't seem to really on own way of teaching, rather than making herself the center of attentions. Consequently, mean that Kathy only authentic in your class, not make students to practice to use language in your class. Okay? For ways to make your class community of learners and where students feel free to communicate other from English to ask her here in classroom real questions and assume some of the responsibility learning. He train focused learning of his students. So it recognizes or to be understand this difference. To Rove asking for God explore a creative way to teach, Yushi does not. Yushi, it is dependent the same way, the same generation, the different generation, but the same way. But Kathy, no, to make your update step by step to creative your idea, your creative ways, reasons is likely because Kathy wants her to intensity piece training program to practicing your join your company like that or join the meditating course develop to be updated. Okay? Means or equals her background as a foreign teacher classroom, perhaps cultural background has something to be different. Okay? So perhaps cultural speakers of English comes from America, while usually is the same native language and cultural background. The students, native speaker of English, use language with the class, hesitates to speak up in English, and shares the same language and cultural. You mean you should use the same language, mother tongue, not have your courage to speak another language, have hesitate to speak up, maybe to have problem in your pronunciation, your structural, and your idea. It is hesitate, not perfect. It is weak teachers. I see that you're sitting the factors, corroborate the world, not have your idea on another cultural, another business, make your workshop, seminar, your responsibility procedure, attend classes, high school, pursue motivated English on other language. So, this is your benefit. Already, this is your book. Explore or discover the other people in other world. It is what is the perfect, what is not perfect teacher. The perfect teacher to have your collaborated, to be discovered, to be creative. Okay, you should know all the same way, all the same years. Okay, so what the factors are central to teach self-development. It is really important This factor also try to teach self-development. So, several factors affect teachers. This is have factors affect teachers' self-development. First, there is no doubt their development takes times. It takes time to observe interaction in own classroom. For example, make a student to participate, make your presentations, and you all sit down in the last chair to observe students how use language with courage. Okay, have problem your pronunciation, structures, not good spoken, but have practice. Okay? Observe interactions. You have to visit other teacher classes as well as to write journal to take other teaching to preserve advantages time factorable to teacher program work independently their development time noteless or communicate develop for development intentions that's your first way for your teaching career. So time is needed to work through stage. Please dear student focus this point. Time is needed to work through stage. Their development Kathy example for herself. Okay? I need to create all the create relevant are dependent to assessors, such as supervisors, textbook concerns, also arrival tomorrow whole class. Already I mentioned that all teachers should go to the class, make your outline to practice and check your materials, what is using your method hours, okay, techniques, and proceed concern with the form teaching decisions. The first point, make it your outline. Make your outline is really important. All teacher should have outlines. Outlines, okay? So, second, development requires ongoing to comment development. Teaching is not something not only the teacher education program. Teaching career, there are even experienced teachers, new things, development. Hence, when you make comments, development, for example, many would call Kathy teaching skill developer continue to think to make your created idea. Consequences, especially about communicating component in English. Then the third, development through problem solving. Recognize the problem and work to solving where can you discover new ways teacher discover rules or start quickly interest getting student English indicates to continuous generated with the perceived problem you're teaching. Okay? It is very important part to involve reflection, solving problems as a prompt to discover your solution to have interest generated. So, fourth points, develop talents for exploration. Six, teachers make research. Search, discover, explore for base build touristic for strength to approach. Obviously, you have some belief for having training. Approach teaching. It sounds interesting. Five, development has been to be chosen to regard to be basics. Alpha Kathy interaction basic during corporate trainers content for study opportunities for students interact and English way to manage classroom behaviors, materials, and use for teach editions, doubtly for concerns, not have used for different skills reading, writing, singing, and speaking. So this further important point for developer is to focus not only for the one material would not have your behaviors and situations and expressions and so on. Development teaching approaching developer to cafe and teacher teaching about teaching standard, seminar, workshop, participate activities, possibilities, the survey and raise our questions. Self-led teaching for practicing quiet cooperations. Others willing to observe, listen to our teaching, and demonstration with a cooperative development to flood always stimulate ideas. Make your feedback, I mean that. Okay, it's very important point. Okay, so the first important point, I will again this material with PowerPoint. Make it your headline point. Look here, dear student, please. I'm sorry for waiting. Okay, this is strategy in second language. First point, look here, it's very important point. What the factors central for self-development have developed for a time, development state for language teaching, mean depending on outside source. Second point, development ongoing to comment. Development teaching is not something only to do education program. The most experienced teacher come to ongoing development, and development is role for problem solving, or development is role for exploration, exploring and discover for simple to solve for problems, which an opportunity to process. Development is pointations for reviewing to basic for the foreign second language like her class interaction gain basic training to continue to study. Way to create opportunities to interact in English and my behavior materials. Seven six point sorry. Searching out opportunity developments in terms can be first teaching. Okay, I'm sorry for this sounds. Also important. Possible teaching for practicing required cooperations. Okay, it take others willing to observe, listen, and talk with about teaching demonstrations. Cooperation solves most relations. So, in the end, thank you very much for attention and participation. Okay, I will make your summary in this lecture. What is the benefit? What is the aim of this lecture? The aim of this lecture learns during the second day, especially self-like teachers is really important factor. Central teachers self-development. I'm already sure for your students to have difference between Keshi and Kathy. What is the best? What's a good teacher or not good teachers? And also, it's very important factor central. And when your teachers develop for yourself, for something for times, take your time for participating and work through simulations, and develop required to ongoing comment and draw problem solving and collaborated and make your explorations and meditations and enhance for this part. Thank you very much. If you have any question, just tell me. I'll already answer you in this. Okay? Thank you very much and goodbye. Have a nice day. Goodbye.